Hello and welcome to another deck idea brought to you by Double Sleeved. Today we are taking a dive into a new Uub leader. We finally have a new one coming to the game. Goes all the way up to Marju. Let's join each other as a community in the comment section below. Let us know what you think of the deck idea and if you would make any changes. Let's try and make this deck as competitive as it can be and help each other out down in the comment section below. If you are enjoying the content, please subscribe to the channel and put a like on the video. It just really helps let us know that you're enjoying the content and shows us a little bit of love, which we really appreciate. Let's get into the leader here. So we have Uub on the leader front side. Leader doesn't do too much on the leader front, so it's just basic when this card attacks, draw one card, and awaken when your life is 4 or less, or there is a blue Mr. Buu Z battle card with energy cost of 2 in play, draw one card. Switch up to 1 of your energy to active mode and add cards from your life to your hand until there is 6 left. On the leader back, we have Uub and Mr. Buu, where its order is when this card attacks, draw one card. Additionally, if this card attacks your opponent's leader and there are no cards in your opponent's combo area at the beginning of that damage step, you can draw an additional card. So you can potentially draw 2 if your opponent doesn't combo. It will be really interesting to see what you could maybe do with a blue-green leader that has sort of some of those combo control cards in the deck, but I think it's probably best to stick to the blue archetype to, like, you're not going to get too much from the extra draw one, but just could be something fun to build on the side. Has an active main once per turn and up to 1 battle card in your opponent's drop to their Z energy. That's right, this deck charges your opponent's Z energy. Now, it can be a little bit... I suppose you're feeding your opponent that resource that is normally can be a little bit difficult to build up for some decks, but there are some decks that build up a ridiculous amount of Z energy anyway. The idea with this is to build up as much as possible because you get different plays depending on how many cards are in your opponent's Z energy. Now, there's a reason we've got a really good secret rare that works really well with this deck, but let's get through the battle cards here, and then we'll get into the secret rare as we get up to it. So for our first one drop, we have Hercule Friend Defense. Has auto when this card is played, look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 Mr. Buu or Earthling card with energy cost of 4 or less to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. And then active main limit 1, place this card in your drop and play up to 1 Mr. Buu in disguise from your deck or hand, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. The Mr. Buu in disguise we'll get to soon, but first one drop is actually a promo card, promo number 151. Might not be the best card for the deck, but I thought, you know what, it's searchable. We can have it in here, and it's not a bad little counter attack. When this card is played, if your opponent has 2 or less energy, your opponent can't attack with battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less for the duration of the turn unless they choose 1 card from their hand, place it on top of their deck. Now, this is probably more of a side deck card, but I wanted to put it in there just to raise awareness that this card is out there. But I think it's a really nice side deck option for this card, and having a couple in the main deck isn't going to hurt either. So this is the Mr. Buu in disguise that plays off of the Hercule. It's so weird to see Buu with this weird human sort of shaped face. I'm not a fan of it myself, but you know what? It is what it is. It has auto when this card is played from your hand, draw 1 card and limit 1 if your leader is a blue Uub and your opponent has 3 or less Z energy. When this card is used in a combo, your opponent draws 1 card and then your opponent adds 1 card from their hand to their Z energy. Going into Mr. Buu for Friendship is a blocker auto. When this card is played, you and your opponent draw 1 card and then your opponent adds 1 card from their hand to the Z energy. Remembering, we want to make sure our opponent's putting cards into their Z energy there. Active main limit 1 for 1 blue. If your leader is a blue Uub and you have 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand. So it plays out for 1 blue. Going into our Uub battle cards here. Now, I've gone with the super combo here. That is just generic when your life is 4 or less and uses card in combo, draw 1 card. It's a natural 0 plus 10k, which is nice. It's also an Earthling that is searchable off the Hercule and also thematic to the deck being Uub. For our first Uub real battle card, we have the 3-drop Uub Warrior left on Earth. Has a Union Absorb limit 1. If your leader card is a blue Uub and your opponent has 5 or more Z energy, and you place 1 Mr. Buu from your drop under this card, Play up to 1 blue Uub with an energy cost of 6 from your deck on top of this card in active mode, and then shuffle your deck. And then auto, when this card attacks, use up to 1 mono blue card with 5000 combo power from your drop in a combo with its skills negated for the turn. Active main is limit 1. If your leader card is a blue Uub, you have 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand. And going straight into the 6 costs that plays on top of this card now has the permanent, if it's your turn and this card is under your leader, the leader on top of this gets minus 5000 power, and this card can't be removed from your leader area by any other skills other than this card. Now that is because it has the auto here, and it's actually going to be under your opponent's leader. So it's going to affect your opponent on their turn, which is quite nice, gives them minus 5k. Limit 1, when this card is played from your deck or hand, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, and then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, add it to its owner's Z energy, place this card from the battle area under your opponent's leader at the end of the turn, and then play this card from under your opponent's leader at the start of your main phase. So, limit 1 for 1 blue energy. If your leader is a mono blue earthling or margin, and your opponent has 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand, so you can play it from hand. This is really nice to give your opponent's leader a minus 5k. It's not going to be, like, if they're coming in with battle cards, it's not going to be something that's massive. But it is nice to just give you that little bit of space and a little bit of protection from their leader attack there. But you do also have to lose... actually, no, it's add up to 1. So you can do this without putting your life to your hand. So it's not too bad in that regard. You don't really lose anything. So you can just keep pitching this every single turn under your opponent's leader. If you have multiple, it's not going to work because unfortunately it's got limit 1. And that would be absolutely broken if you could stack that. Could you imagine getting your opponent's leaders to something like minus 15, minus 20k? Would be absolutely unreal. Next one here is the 4 cost. We have another Union Absorb. If your leader card is a blue Uub and your opponent has 5 or more Z energy, you may place 1 blue Mr. Buu from your drop under this card and play up to 1 blue Uub with an energy cost of 8 and 30,000 power from your deck on top of this card and in active mode. Active main is limit 1 for 2 blue energy. If your leader card is a blue Uub, play this card from your hand. And similar to the other one, here is the 8 cost here, which is actually a really, really nice 8 cost for the deck. Permanent, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3 for each card in your opponent's Z energy. So this can come down to a 2 cost. Has deflect and double strike. Auto limit 1. If your leader is mono blue and your opponent has 3 or more energy when this card is played, draw 1 card, choose up to a total of 3 battle cards in your opponent's battle area, or drop and place them in their owner's Z energy. And auto once per turn. If you and your opponent have a total of 7 or more Z energy, when your opponent activates a counter, they add 1 card from their hand to its owner's Z energy. So it adds an additional cost for counters. Should be pretty easy to get that 7 Z energy in your opponent's Z energy to get that effect happening. A couple of the promos, again, a little bit thematic, but also not a bad blue card. We have Son Goku and Uub Newfound Journey. Has deflect and dual attack. Auto, when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less, return it to its owner's hand. Look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck and add up to 1 Earthling or 1 World Tournament card, both with an energy cost of 4 and less, among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. And then active main limit 1 for 1 generic energy. If your leader is a blue or a World Tournament card and you have 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand. So nice, he's searchable. He also searches out some of your other Earthling cards, which are these few here. We have Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku Warrior Savior. 3 copies of this. So unique blocker, limit 1. If your leader card is blue Uub, when one of your blue Uub cards with an energy cost of 6 or more is removed from your battle area by your skill, play this card from your hand. So this auto here, once it gets removed by skill, you can play this Goku out for free. And then has an auto once per turn. When this card activates blocker, switch this card to active mode. So this is a nice dual blocker. That's 20k. It is unique, so you can only have 1 out at a time. But it is a nice little bit of play if you have this Uub going under your opponent's leader. Their opponent leader gets minus 5k, and then you get a dual blocker for free. We have a couple of copies of Pan Brave Defense, which is a blocker counterplay limit 1. Play this card, and then Permanent, if your leader card is a blue Uub Z leader, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3, so it becomes a 1 cost. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less and place it at the bottom of their deck. Going into Floodgate, because we do have a Z leader, this is going to be really easy to get out. Android 17 is absolutely insane. So counter attack, negate the attack and play this card in rest mode. Limit 1, if your leader is blue and your leader is a Z leader, or you have 3 or more Z energy, or you have a Z battle card in play. When this card is played for the turn, your opponent can't attack with battle cards unless they choose one card in their hand and place it at the bottom of their deck each time. Going into a secret rare, and this card is really built for this deck. It's actually going to be insanely broken if you get this guy out. Ultimate Double Strike Blocker. When this card is played, choose all your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, send them to their owner's warp. Then your opponent chooses 5 cards in their hand and adds the rest to their Z energy, and this card gains barrier for the turn. So it becomes a barrier blocker double strike. Very nice. Now, this card plays out for 5 generic energy. If your opponent has 4 or more energy, play this card from your hand. But the active main battle is absolutely insane. If this card is in rest mode and you place 2 of your opponent's Z energy in the owner's drop, switch this card to active mode. So you think they've already got an average of 10 cards in hand. They're going down to 5. That's already 2 additional swings. So you've got 3 swings there. On top of all of the cards you're getting your opponent to put into their Z energy, you're going to get... This card is going to be a game ender. They're not going to be able to get over the top of this if this guy gets out, and they have no way to counter it. Going into our extra cards here, we have Full Strength Absorption, Counter Attack Limit 1, negate the attack. Additionally, if your opponent has 4 or more Z energy, draw 1 card. So you should be able to negate and draw 1. But the permanent is nice. If your leader card's a blue Uub and your life is 4 or less, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its cost and by discarding 1 blue Mr. Buu from your hand. So all you have to do is pitch an extra card. We have a couple of Mr. Boos here, and then you get the free negate, which is really nice. Dimension Magic, you guys know what this card does. It's a staple in blue. Same with Sensu Bean and a couple of Chilled Army reinforcements. Going into the Z deck here, we have the Uub fusion of 2 spirits. So this is going into Marjube, which is actually a character I wish we saw a lot more of, and I wish he was really broken because I think he's kind of cool, Marjube. For 1 blue energy, if you have 3 life or less, and you place 1 blue Mr. Buu from your drop area under this card, evolves on top of a blue Uub. All once per turn, when this card attacks, draw 1 card, and you can choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, add it to its Z energy. Active main, once per turn, if your opponent has 5 or more Z energy, choose up to 1 of your blue Uub battle cards under a blue Mr. Buu and switch it to active mode. So you get to restand a Uub. And then active battle, once per turn, if your opponent has 10 or more Z energy, this card gains plus 10,000 power and double strike for the battle. So it will become a 30k double striker, which is quite nice. I think this is going to be a really fun deck to play. Going into archetype cards here for the Z deck, we have Mr. Buu Margin Defender is a blocker and is Z stack 1 with a blue Uub battle card with energy cost of 3. Permanent, if you have a leader, if your leader is a blue Uub and your opponent has a leader who is a Z leader, has 3 or more Z energy, or has a Z battle card in play, and this card will be removed from your battle area. You may play 1 blue Uub with an energy cost of 3 from under this card on top of this in active mode instead. So you get a new battle card out, and when this card is played, your opponent draws 1 card, adds 1 card from their hand to their Z energy. This is our 3 cost here. We have Uub, Holder of Margin Power. Although when this card is played, this card gains barrier for the turn, so it's protected after you swap him out. Auto limit 1, if your leader is a blue Uub and it's your turn, when one of your opponent's cards is added to their Z energy, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards from their battle area or drop, add it to their owner's Z energy. Active battle once per turn, if your opponent has 3 or more Z energy and you have a Uub in battle, place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck into your drop, then use up to 1 of your mono blue cards with a combo cost of 5 from your drop in a combo with its skills negated for the turn. So a nice little free combo there for a burst. And 2 copies of Beerus because Beerus is an amazing Z Battle card, and you don't want to not have that in your deck. So look, that's the deck, guys. Let us know in the comment section below what you think of the deck. Would you add anything different? Would you make any changes? Have you found some spice that we haven't seen yet? Let's have a discussion in the comment section below. We're going to keep going on with these reveals. We'll be moving on to the next one will be, oh, I think we're going up to green now. So not too far away from all the reveals. So almost there. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.